Boston Mayor Marty Walsh hosted two big events earlier this month: the International Mayors Climate Change Summit and the U.S. Conference of Mayors. But as Walsh took to the world stage on an issue he's talked about with plenty of passion over the years, he's also been getting some criticism from advocates who say that passion's great, but they want more action. Connecting Point's Reilly has the story.
The light is turned into heat inside, and the heat is kept inside because the insulation is good. You could probably tell it's more than a foot of insulation.
Kananthiru Vengadam of Boston spends a lot of time on environmental activism. Here he's giving me a tour of the Jamaica Plain greenhouse, a funky structure that actually creates more energy than it uses.
The house gets fresh air from the outside in, but at the same time, it also takes the warmth of that air and uses that to warm the house.
For Thiru Vengadam, the JP greenhouse embodies both how much can already be done to fight climate change and how much the city of Boston isn't doing that it could be.
Building 21st century buildings, kind of like the one we're sitting in. It could be passive solar, it could be zero carbon, it could be near zero carbon. These huge buildings that are going up all over the place. Isn't this also our opportunity to build these buildings in a way that would be a model?
But right now, Thiru Vengadam says too many of Boston's new developments aren't that green at all. What's more, while Mayor Marty Walsh has pledged to make Boston carbon neutral by 2050, the details are still being hashed out.
While you're doing research, you're not making any change. You're not cutting carbon. You're not adding more renewable energy. So you're not moving the needle.
That isn't the message Walsh will deliver at BU when he hosts a mayoral climate change summit featuring John Kerry and former EPA head Gina McCarthy. The mayor has called Boston America's climate champion and says the city is already responding on a number of fronts.
In this year's budget, we have money for seawalls to be put up in East Boston. We're looking at designing our park system, Langone and Popolo Park on the north end. We're going to be raising it 40 inches for sea level rise. We're designing right now Moakley Park in South Boston. We're also taking into account what's happening there.
But according to Emily Norton of the Sierra Club, for Boston to really have the leadership role that Walsh envisions, the mayor needs to do more.
We're really not seeing the action match the rhetoric.
Case in point, says Norton, the seaport, where climate vulnerability was on full display this past winter. But the building boom doesn't seem to have slowed at all.
What happens when sea level is 3 feet higher, 5 feet higher, 10 feet higher? What happens when the roads to those buildings are chronically inundated? What does that do to the infrastructure underground, the sewer, the water, the subway? We know these problems are coming, so let's act now.
The good news for advocates who think the city is falling short is that the mayor says he welcomes public pressure in this area and that big changes to the city's MO are coming soon.
I'm not going to take the criticism as a bad thing. It's a challenge to us to move faster. In the city, at least under my administration, the administration before me, there was a lot of work put into this, a lot of planning. I think now it's coming down to actually laying down the foundation and doing the work.
And clearly there is plenty of work still to be done.